wasn't even long ago. There was a huge article, the rebel queen, whatever, you know. That is what they have chosen to label me. It isn't necessarily the truth. I don't believe I'm a rebel. In fact, I really adhere to a lot of the rules set for me. It is just that sometimes you can't please everyone. There comes a point where you have to please yourself.
I was born in Swanelo Mangomezulu, was born in 1969. Which means there's a 1 year age difference between her and the king. The king was born in 1968. They are almost of the same age. And it is rumored that it is said about her that she was a bit of a rebel. Sometimes they refer to her as the rebel queen. And I think it is in her character also, if you even see her talking and hear the things that she articulates, that there's some element of rebelliousness in her character. There's some aspect of being a deviant in the things that you sometimes hear saying. And she's the only wife that I could listen to at any given moment. Because if you look for tapes, if you look for videos about the other wives, you won't hear any of the wives speaking. You can hear some stories, which are even muffled. The stories are not all that common. They are not very detailed. But if you look for the tapes for Mangomezulu, Sibonilo, you find a few tapes, which means that she was very, very vocal. She was very, very loud-mouthed, if I am to use that about her. I like her. Actually, she's a personality that I actually like. I like her personality. So I wouldn't want to refer to her as a loud mother. I would want to refer to her as someone who's very articulate. She really wants to express her views. When she wants to express herself, she can do it very, very well without any exception and without any problems. So they say that she was a bit of a deviant. She would trade dolls, because she was a woman. Of course, dolls were bought for her. She would trade those dolls for soccer boots and for soccer balls, because she wanted to play soccer at that time, way back. You know, she was born in 1960. She would want to play soccer with boys. And at that time, soccer among ladies was not as common as it is today. You can see that she was a kind of a tomboy. She was really a tomboy, someone who prefers maybe to identify with men more than she identified with women, which means she was a very strong-willed, strong character, strong personality kind of person. And she still is like that, even at this time as I go to, as I do this video, she looks like she hasn't changed. The day that is held in Swaziland is held at her place, is held at her palace. Every year, people gather at her palace to do the reed dance. And she has always honored, rather appreciated this honor. And also she says about other wives married to King Mswati, because all the other wives came after her. She said that there's no need for her. She feels that there's no need for them to antagonize each other. She feels that they should always be happy together. But remember, where ladies are grouped under the banner of one man, that is very difficult to achieve. Even if there are two ladies grouped under the banner of one man, it's always difficult. Ladies rub against each other so much so that it's very difficult for stories not to crop up, for issues not to come up. They always come up where ladies are just maybe gathered together. Because some people say ladies are like dogs, because if you hear a dog barking at you, you are maybe walking your own dog. If you hear a dog barking at you, don't think it's barking at you, it's barking at the other dog. Dogs don't want to see other dogs. Just like ladies don't want to see other ladies. So just imagine a situation whereby there are 15 ladies or 16 women married to one man. What kind of a situation do you have? What kind of chaos? It's a real total chaos. I think that's why the King Mswati is now a man who's ruling the whole of Swaziland with an iron fist. He's ruling the whole of Swaziland with a lot of dictatorship and a lot of heavy-handedness. I think it's because this started with him having to deal with a group of wives that he's calling his own. It's not very easy. You have to be very strong for you to deal with a group of wives that are maybe your wives, because even dealing with two can be quite a handful. It can be a handful. Even one wife is a handful. Just imagine, you multiply that figure by 50. You sometimes can end up behaving like a madman, which is what happens with the king. Sometimes you realize that it's not quite normal. I think it's because of these 15 wives. Let me blame the woman. It's easy for me to blame the woman here. It's the woman who caused the king to behave like a crazed person because of their, I don't know what to call it. Let me leave it at that.
I really did not expect to be the only wife. What I knew was that definitely the monarchy is a polygamous institution. That is something that I accepted at the onset, that I know this is how it's going to be.
She was also a very deeply religious person. She's a very strong Christian, and she goes to church, frequent of church Sunday services, and she's a part of a community, of a Christian community that really regards her, because she's, of course, from the royal palace, regards her with a lot of respect. She believes that God solves most of the problems, and she really defends herself with prayer most of the time. She's prayerful, and she also likes soccer a lot. I am told that she supports the Swallows, and you can see her donning a Swallows jersey sometimes if she's in a high mood, and maybe if Swallows is winning. The problem is that Swallows sometimes is always losing. You can be very disappointed sometimes if you are a Swallows supporter.
I've always believed in the power of prayer, you see. So I do believe that I did gain strength from prayer, even if it wasn't always my own prayers, but my parents' prayers and maybe other Christians' prayers from my church and whoever else that loved me and prayed for me.
It is rumored that King Mswati too had about 125 wives. Some people say he had 100, some people say he had 70. Then the figure is never exactly the same when it depends on who you are talking to actually. The figure is not constant. It's always changing between 70 and 125. I don't remember anyone saying there were more than 125. So 125 is the highest figure that I have come across. When it comes to his son, Makositibe Oro, King Mswati III, he only has 16 by the time I'm doing this video. This is in 2021. He only has about 16 wives. So he has done a very decent job of taking wives as compared to his father. He has been very decent. He's been very modest. Otherwise, he could be rising above maybe to some figures like maybe even 120 by now, because there are so many ladies out there who really would want to be married to him as king of Swaziland, the Mswati king. Dancing here is Swanile Mngome Zulu, the center of our focus today. She's carefree, she doesn't have any care in the world what people think about it. This is the king's wife, and who is referred to as the first wife. But actually, when you look in technical terms, she's not the first wife. She is not wife number one, but people refer to her as wife number one. She's not wife number one. Actually, she's wife number 3. She's referred to as wife number 1 because it was his first choice. When the king, what happens in the Swati culture is that when the king gets married, or rather when he's crowned as king, when he's now ruling as the king, when he's been enthroned as the king of Swaziland, he's supposed to get 2 wives from the council that they select for him without any of his contribution, that any participation from him. They have to select about 3 wives for him. So they selected about 3 wives for him. I mean 2 wives, not 3. If I'm saying 3, I'm lying. It's supposed to be 2. They select for him wife number 1, who is called, the name that they give to her is ritual wife number 1. This wife is there to I think what they were saying was that the king has got a lot of rituals that has to be performed, because in our tradition the king had to protect himself using a series of rituals, like go really ganja style or go happy style to protect his throne from. We know the king has got a lot of enemies. Maybe the ritual wife, it was the ritual wife's responsibility to take care of that department. It was her department. That's why they would give him this particular wife so that she dedicates her wife to making sure that she looks after the protection of the husband, maybe through herbal or rather traditional medicine, or rather through dark magic style kind of for protection defense system. That was the purpose. And there was also wife number 2, who I understand has got about 4 children. The wife number 2 is also called, referred to as ritual wife number 2. These were the 2 women that he was given, whether he liked it or not. He didn't have to look at the woman, they would just bring the woman to her. But they say it was after careful selection, because they had to select these ladies from honorable, noble families, families of well-to-do Swat families. So they were good ladies. I didn't mean that they just had to pick them from just the common people. They had to pick them from noble families, and then they'll give him these wives. So the first wife that he chose is known as Onelo Mangomezulu, or famously known as LaMbikiza. This is the wife that he chose by himself. In fact, it is rumored that he chose this wife before he was enthroned, before he became king. He came from England in August when he was 18 years old. He came from England for, I think it was for a holiday. He came for the Reed Dance holiday. When he was at the Reed Dance, he saw this girl and he really liked her. She's quite a eye-catching lady. She's very beautiful. He saw her and he wanted to talk to her, but then she vanished into the crowd. He couldn't talk to her. Then he went back to school. Remember, he was at school there in England. When he came back in December, for the December holiday, then he started to review the tapes to see, can I see that lady again? Then he saw the lady and he sent men from the royal house to go and look for her. They looked for her and found her. Then that's when the relationship started. He was not a king at this time. He was just a Makositibe without any crown. He had not yet been crowned or enthroned. Then when he was enthroned on 25 April 1982, that's when he was given this ritual wives, wife number 1, wife number 2. When he was supposed to take wife number 1, he chose the first one that he was already in a relationship with, who was known as Sibonile Mango Mezulu. She married the king when she was only 16 years of age. She was very young, 16 years of age, and then she got married to the king as the first wife. The other wives, remember I said they were ritual wife number 1 and wife number 2. Their names are Matsebula and Lamota. Those are the names of the first 2 wives who were given to King Makositibe as ritual wives.
I was younger than her when I got married. I was 2 years younger than her.
Were you 15?
I was 16. You're turning 18.
She is the mother of the rapper.
But an imports then drive your mini Benz for the mini princess. I wanna be out of jaws, spit bombs and smoke all your wine. Loyal to the royal citizen of the moon. Trying to holler back in my dog, Kenneth Kaboom, the bounce the catwalk. Hate the girl talk, I be the plot, kill my style, kill on mop, the rhyme slayer. I burn your my desire, spit fire like Maya. I rock their jewels, got my own rules, no fools, rocking.
This the Mswati's first daughter, Skanyiso, who is the rapper, who is famously known as Pashu. She's a very good rapper. I'm going to do a video about her life. She's a very good rapper, very well talented, very, very articulate also, very well educated. I think she graduated into, she has a degree in, I'll have to look at that and give you details about that. She is the mother to that lady, and she is sometimes also she's referred to as the rebel princess, and she's referred to as the rebel queen. So you see, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. She just gave birth to herself, and I don't know whether it's something that she celebrates, that she has a daughter who behaves almost in the same way that she does. The son, I think, is a bit quiet. There's quite a number of people in the royal palace and maybe outside who really don't like LaMbikiza that much. It's quite a significant number. We'll make up stories against it. Tell people things that they think LaMbikiza does and maybe make it as if it sounds like it's fact when actually it's just fiction. It's just what they think about it. So much is their hatred that they are, okay, they even at some point made up a story that LaMbikiza tried to kill the king. When the king was poisoned, they went and consulted seers and said that it was LaMbikiza who tried to kill the king because she wanted her son to be the king. It is quite a plot. The plot is quite thick. I think that she's too ambitious. She likes the spotlight too much. That she is nursing, or rather she's always nursed the idea of her son becoming a king one day, because she likes things. She likes the higher life. She likes the spotlight too much. Those are the people that hate her. I don't know what the people who really like her identify with her really think. That's what they think. And there has been stories that has been rumored about her because of this kind of ambition that she has. They think she's up to a lot of, and they've said a lot of things, a lot of ugly things about her because they think she's too ambitious. And I think our African culture simply does not really think very positively, or rather, it doesn't cast a positive light on women who are outspoken. If you're a woman, you are supposed to be very malleable and very soft, and you are supposed to be much of a listener. If you are a woman and you are described as being articulate, then a lot of people would not like you because of that kind of quality. A woman should not be articulate. She should be quiet and listen to what things that are said to her. I think that is how she attracted a lot of enemies. She has a lot of enemies because of that. Because she talks and she's very good at talking. We didn't say much about how she feels about the other women, but here her daughter summarizes it for her. She just gives a very detailed summary of what it means to have a new wife coming in to join the family, to come and join the harem. She doesn't hesitate to say what she feels like. She's just like her, a rebel, outspoken, and having no fear of saying what she feels like. And I think she did a very good piece here of how a woman would feel when another woman is coming to to be married to her own husband. And we are not going to hear it from any other woman. We are hearing it from her daughter. Quite on point. She's quite on point.
He was the first wife, so the whole novelty of him taking wives is just worn out. The first 3 wives taken after her, that was shocking and maybe hurtful, but then afterwards, having a new member of the family is always stressful. It just means there's going to be a greater division in love, attention, money.
It is still weird. It is. They don't really give you a set of rules. They expect you to dutifully attend all functions that His Majesty is invited to. You need to go out only when you're expected to go out, or when it is absolutely necessary. Be well behaved. Whatever standards, they don't really set the standards of good behavior, but when you do go astray, they quickly let you know.
Regarded as the king's favorite wife, his very own first choice, coming after 2 arranged marriages, ritual wife number 1 and ritual wife number 2. But she is regarded as the king's favorite one. And if you would see the pictures, in most cases, they were going to London, they were having these very big occasions. She was the one, she's the one who is almost being accompanied the king. I think it's because of her strong character, and she can handle a lot of situations that needs handling. That's why the king maybe favored her, or maybe because she came first, because in African culture, the wife who is wife number 1, whom we call the head of the harem, is regarded as a very important wife. Is regarded with a lot of respect, a lot of honor, and that is how Sibonile Mangomezulu or LaMbikiza is regarded among the king's wife. She's regarded with honor and respect, a lot of respect. She's respected so much. The dance that is held in Swaziland is held at her place, is held at her palace. Every year, people gather at her palace to do the reed dance. And she has always honored, rather appreciated this honor, and Also, she says about other wives married to King Mswati, because all the other wives came after her. She said that there's no need for her. She feels that there's no need for them to antagonize each other. She feels that they should always be happy together. But remember, where ladies are grouped under the banner of one man, that is very difficult to achieve. Even if there are two ladies grouped under the banner of one man, it's always difficult. Ladies rub against each other so much so that it's very difficult for stories not to crop up, for issues not to come up. They always come up where ladies are just maybe gathered together. Because some people say ladies are like dogs, because if you hear a dog barking at you, you are maybe walking your own dog. If you hear a dog barking at you, barking, don't think it's barking at you, it's barking at the other dog. Dogs don't want to see other dogs. Just like ladies don't want to see other ladies. So just imagine a situation whereby there are 15 ladies or 16 women married to one man. What kind of a situation do you have? What kind of chaos? It's a real total chaos. I think that's why the King Mswati is now a man who's ruling the whole of Swaziland with an iron fist. He's ruling the whole of Swaziland with a lot of dictatorship and a lot of heavy-handedness. I think it's because this started with him having to deal with a group of wives that he's calling his own. It's not very easy. You have to be very strong for you to deal with a group of wives that are maybe your wives, because even dealing with two can be quite a handful. It can be handful. Even one wife is a handful. Just imagine, you multiply that figure by 15. You sometimes you can end up behaving like a madman, which is what happens with the king. Sometimes you realize that it's not quite normal. I think it's because of these 15 wives. Let me blame the woman. It's easy for me to blame the woman here. It's the woman who caused the king to behave like a crazed person because of their, I don't know what to call it. Let me leave it at that. There you have it. That's the story of LaMbikiza there for you. And she's just one example of a woman who enjoy a lot, go through a lot, suffer a lot of emotional and intellectual and sometimes physical pain for a man who sometimes does not even care about it, does not even care about her feelings. To Mswati, these ladies are not actually wives, to be honest. Let us face it. 15 wives, no. They are not wives to him. They are just trophies. Like pieces of software that you can put on a shelf and display so that people who come will look at in awe and amazement. There's no emotion for you involved in loving 15 women. So these women are really just suffering because of a social aberration that exists in our African society. And I don't think they are not happy. If you look at their faces, if you look at how they look, they are not happy. Which is why some of them will go out and maybe commit adultery, or rather be unfaithful with someone else, because they will try to release the pressure inside them. There's so much emotional pressure pent up inside their bodies because of sharing one man. It's just not practical. And yet Mswati enjoys it, and he takes a wife every time, and he takes a very young one, 15 years. So for that's what he enjoys. I think he is a man who doesn't understand female psychology. 2 would have been appreciable, even 3, not 15. And he said he's got an example that he's going to follow with the sanctity, and he's following in the footsteps of his father. Wait, I mean 125 or 70, 100, whichever. I feel sorry for women like this, because you need to think about sex. The day you decide to have sex, you must have it if you are married. Not for you to fail to have sex on a day that you have so much sexual desire, so much sexual tension inside you, simply because your husband, or rather your spouse or your partner, is with someone else. You know that is with someone else, or after that someone is going to another person before he can come to you. I feel sorry for these women. I feel sorry for them. So the only problem is that women are attracted to power. Sometimes they suffer because of it. They end up not being happy because of that decision. But because they want people to look at them in awe and say, oh, she's very special. She's oh my God, she's married to the king and things like that. That's why some of them end up running away. They realize that they would have made a decision. I mean, a poor decision and a bad decision. That all this is nothing but vanity, and vanity leads nowhere. Solomon later on realized that everything else, when you gather things around us, it's just vanity. It's empty. It's hollow. There's no real happiness inside. I feel sorry for LaMbikiza and the others. I'm going to do a documentary on the 15 women. I already have it ready on the 15 women. Please subscribe to this channel. I'm going to have to do another documentary. I all have the pieces. All the pieces are ready, so that I can look at each woman. Oh, the 15. Now there are 16, but there's no information on the latest one. You can't find information about her because the Mswati hides information. He's very good at living a secluded life, because most of the things that he does are really, really bad things. He wants to seclude himself from the outside world because he doesn't want people to see the truth of what he really does. But I will keep on digging. I want to know about the wife number 16 whom I know he has taken, and maybe many other wives that he has abducted. I need to know all those wives. I will try to get the information as much as I could. I will try to really get some information on them, because I want to know the truth. These women are being deceived. Thank you so much.